Yo, yo. Geez, Ali, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming through. Okay, so as you can see, I have 81 entries in this year Codex, some of them being probably, a mixture of things like cosmetics and whatnot, but everything that's readable, everything with an audio log, it's go ahead and be narrating. Let's just go ahead and get started with all these career advancements here. I think these are just rewards, mainly. That's what it looks like, yeah. And go ahead and overload my vault. No reason for that. Okay. Oh, you get prestiges at level 100. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Go. You're fine. You're fine. Geez, I appreciate you. Yeah, the shadow bans on Twitter are pretty diabolical, so I totally respect that. You're fine. Appreciate you. Okay, so this is just a runner's guide here, like $1 trillion. For those that know, from the Alberto Mielgo cinematic that dropped a couple months ago. Goated reference. Okay. More to a payday than credits. Factions identify those runners who best fit their agendas. Hey, welcome, Bingus. Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate it. Let's see. Best fit their agendas and offer them ways to improve their value in the form of upgrades. These upgrades can improve shell operations or open a wider assortment of goods in the armory. It is up to the given runner to select the upgrades that best augment their run style. Runners who continue to work for factions earn deeper access to more upgrades, which can be purchased for some combination of credits and mats. Okay. Looking directly at you at unstable biomass, aka bags of poop. The deeper a runner's connection with a faction, the better the upgrades they will have available to them. Over time, a runner can maximize their shell in their arsenal, giving them great odds at survival when risking another run on Ceti IV. Yes, bags of Duke. Cosmic space poo. Shell upgrades. Okay, as a piece of advanced technology, a runner's shell offers the opportunity to improve the run experience via shell system upgrades. These software enhancements allow a runner to customize their functionality to fit their skills interests or simply to increase baseline shell operations. Improve heat regulation, increase ability charge, up movement, agility, and handling, enhance every aspect of shell function. Okay. Shell upgrades offer an evolution across numerous systems. Armory upgrades open up the armory's inventory to purchase more and higher tier weapons, equipment, and support gear. Runners who upgrade their armory can build an unmatched arsenal to stock up for their next push to the marathon, or restock after unavoidable complications. New weaponry, improved protections, a deeper roster of dangerous toys the armory provides at a price. Remark: evolve or die. Well, death is the first step, so I get that. Okay. Okay. Be eliminated and rebooted, then exfil successfully. Okay. I'll take this. There we go. Okay, feats of mastery. Titles. Okay, haven't completed any of that. I got something in Zone Warden, though. Okay. Deimos and Phobos. Defeat the runner who eliminated you. It's a nice little historical nod. Interesting. Okay. I dig that. Alright. We are on to loot. Next category. Okay, let's see. Weapons. I think these are just going to be skins, but I will go ahead and take a closer look at them. And the design for these weapons is so sick. Cannot emphasize that enough. Here we go. Yes, definitely minty fresh. Not gonna lie, y'all, this right here, this weapon, Hardline PR, easily one of my favorites. It is a nail driver. Reminds me, if you ever played Call of Duty, if you ever recreationally shoot guns in real life, that right there is an FAL. It is straight up an FAL, and that is one of my favorite. Yes, big DMR vibes from Halo. Yes, exactly. Nailed it. Glad y'all agree. Now this one I feel like hits harder, but the reload animation is what gets me killed a lot. I will say that much. Yes, the FN foul. Exactly. Exactly. Just an absolute fucking nail driver. This is actually a sick skin for this, though. Okay. On to the pistols. Which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and get this one, claim this one, because this is honestly a hilariously sized gun. I mean, just look at the dimensions of it. Look at this grip compared to all of this. I think that's quite comical. This gun, though, the Magnum MC, this gun is lethal in the right hands. This gun is so good. Absolutely amazing. Reminds me of the V11 Punch with, but with heavy rounds. That's right, with heavy rounds. V11 Punch is also extremely underrated in case you all have not given that a shot. The Volt Thrower. Very nice. Man, these Codex skins are sick. These are so sick. Can't wait to get the Needler mod for this gun. This is another one of my favorites. For the Volts, it's this, the Scar, and the V11 Punch. So good. And then of course, Ye Trusty Blade. Okay, consumables. This does have some readable stuff. Okay, so this is going to be good. Okay, here we go. Runner's Guide, Equipment Patch Kit. Okay. Various manufacturers. Yes, my knife. Let's see. Uses. Repair minor physical damage to a shell. Overview. Basic injector type delivery system for introducing specialized surgical swarmlets into a shell's circulatory system. Interesting. So it adds a hot to you, basically restores health over time. Temporarily reduces likelihood of death, and a warm feeling. Who doesn't love a nice little warm feeling? Patch kits are easily as valuable as ammunition. Treat them with respect. This, though, this is accurate. Okay, shield charges. Shield charge, manufacturer various. Recharge your shell's depleted shields. Overview. Portable power pack holds sufficient energy to restore functionality to a standard level 1 personal shield device, PSD. Okay. Fully recharges level 1 shields. May be used to partially recharge up to level number PSDs. Non-rechargeable. Survival rates for runners with low shields are less than ideal. Very true. Shielding up is almost more important than healing up, but they're both equally, they both have weight. Okay. Item OS debug. Again, various manufacturers. Even though we see the new caloric branding on here, it does say various manufacturers, so that's interesting. Purge your shell's operating system of malicious code and executables. Overview. Portable single-use diagnostic and system security tool with secure encrypted wireless 30 petabytes per second. I'm going to assume PB is petabytes. Petabytes per second connectivity. Temporarily reinforces system OS firewall to counter invasive or disruptive software irregularities in your shell's operational functional systems. Removes malicious software status effects, EMP hack, and it's done in seconds. Okay. A clean OS is an efficient OS. An efficient OS is a clean shell, and a clean shell is a happy runner. Facts. Absolute facts. Let's see. Okay, mechanics kit. Now this has saved my life on Dire Marsh more times than I'd actually like to admit. Running into those poison plants and popping one of these immediately is one of the best things, one of the best feelings in the world. I'm not even going to lie. Okay. Again, new caloric branding, but still says various manufacturers. So that's interesting. Okay. Uses clear biosynthetic systems of harmful contaminants. So it's an advanced infusion system for delivering multifunction restorative countermeasures to help clear hazardous effects. Yeah, for sure. Glad you're done with work. Glad you're done with work. Get all that stuff shut down. And yeah, it is like a nasal spray. Bingus. Exactly. Let's see. To help clear hazardous effects from shell hardware, temporarily boosts biosynthetic systems efficiency. So counters shell hardware damage by, let's see, caused by frost buildup, immobilization, overheating, and toxicity. Now with less bruising. Love that little marketing spin there. Understanding when to use it is the first step towards acquiring situational awareness. Big facts. Okay. So I haven't even really used an energy amp. You know, that's actually a good point, Bingus, dude. I was talking with someone on Twitter, and I was like, man, I wonder why frost is included in the mech kit. And then we started getting into, I was like thinking maybe there would be cryo grenades or cryo mines or cryo claymores or something. Or like frost rounds even. I don't know if you watch Kaiju number 8, the anime, but there's like a variant of bullets that can be used, like called like frost rounds. So I was thinking it'd be something like that, but then they mentioned that cryo might just have an environmental effect always. And so that kind of led us into thinking like, okay, shit, if cryo's going to constantly apply frost, then maybe that's like an incentive to not camp, to like not be a rat, to like think about, okay, if I'm going to freeze over, do I just want to bring a bunch of mechanics kits and try ratting? Or do I and just keep things moving and be hyper aggressive and constantly generating heat, knowing that it might dissipate way faster, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like an environmental that forces runners to make like these types of decisions for either avoiding or engaging with other teams. You know, there's like a lot to be kind of thought about there, I think. So that's interesting. But yeah, when I saw that it did frost, I was like, shit, I don't know what the hell that means. Okay, standard salvage. Non-eccentric salvage. Let's see what this is all about. Ah, I wish it was the poop bag. Let's see, overview. Standard salvage is common but valuable type of salvage utilized by runners in trade and crafting. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Okay, enhanced salvage. Let's see this. Enhanced salvage is a moderately rare but valuable type of salvage utilized by runners in trade and crafting. Okay, that's straightforward. This is interesting. I've filled with a few of these. Obedience matrix. Okay. A description of a cylindrical piece of circuitry taken from the inner workings of a UESC combat unit. The uses. Okay. Large-scale biograms, self-guided weapon systems, hybridized compliance fields. So now what this makes me think of is like, okay, if runners are made of biomata, does this UESC are also made of biomata? Makes me wonder, like, is Sekaguchi also creating UESC bots? Maybe that's something that someone else knows already, but I'm not really sure. Let's see. Remark, low-frequency percussive signals emitted by this unit can be felt as violent fluctuations in air pressure. Avoid placing in close proximity to devices capable of independent operation. Okay, noted. So it's a percussive piece of biomata tooling. Okay. So let's see. That's everything for loot. Now it's onto the chunky ones. Okay. World. Here we go. Got a few in perimeter here. Okay, this is just straightforward. Man, these Codex rewards are sick. I like these profiles, emblems, all that stuff. Really great implementation of those types of rewards for just playing the game, you know? Okay. Zone, perimeter, colony outskirts, colony edge site expansion. It's in the wilderness. We got data wall, hauler, north and south relay, and overflow. Okay. Status dormant. All activity stalled well before the expansion to this zone could commence. Presence of a data wall and dual relay suggests heavy geologic surveillance and large store data compilation and transference. Which is interesting. I think there's another piece of lore that is a worker who's like talking about their time in perimeter and how a bunch of security issues basically hampered their progress there. Okay, let's see. Perimeter appears to have been part of a colony expansion efforts. Initial observations indicate the site was focused on reshaping the western slope in preparation for future development. However, the location of the hauler and the deployment of a data wall in conjunction with the construction of two massive relays indicates that colony efforts to expand its core development were hampered by Tau Ceti IV's unique energy emissions, causing a redirect in priorities from terra platforming to anomalous radiological and focused geological surveillance. Remark, be cautious through choke points. Too much noise and you may alert trouble without a convenient exit. Okay. Yeah, the other lore I remember reading was about a dude working on the terra platforming side of things. Let's see. That's everything from orientation, okay? Exploration, okay. Open containers, okay. Hauler. Love honking the horn and holler, by the way. It's like an invitation for murder, and I always try to do it. Okay. West Central, the hauler is the mobile command center for the data wall. Let's see. Haulers of this type are used to deploy and support data wall placements. Their systems serve as the day-to-day, minute-to-minute point of command for all data wall operations. Typically, a hauler would work in step with a central command facility. In Perimeter's case, it works, in step with station. Okay. The haulers onboard monitoring stations, when fully operational, would provide real-time analysis of figures provided by both the data wall as well as any specific research investigations. It may oversee into specific materials, minerals, or other geological points of interest identified by the data it collects. Let's see. The hauler's position, dictated by the placement of the data wall, also suggests it was placed using aerial support. Perimeter's rocky terrain would make standard traversal impossible, indicating that the importance of the work being done here required inconvenient strategic deployments of the equipment on hand. That's interesting. I don't remember reading that. Aerial support. Makes you wonder what they were using to get that shit over there. That thing's huge. Okay, South Relay. Location, southwest edge. The role is a secondary support relay built once it was realized that planetary readings collected by the data wall were too dense for a single relay to filter. Overview. South Relay is an incomplete twin. It appears to have been constructed more efficiently than North Relay, but was never finished. Slightly elevated levels of decay hint at the southern reach of Perimeter either being less maintained in the colony's waning days, or at some as yet unregistered side effect of the readings they were attempting to capture here. Interesting. Okay, overflow. Okay, location southern edge. Role overflow was built to serve as a runoff collection and filtering station to support Perimeter's initial excavation and terra platforming efforts. Overview. The overflow facilities seem to have transitioned into a wastewater research facility in support of data wall and relay runoff collection / monitoring. With no active operations or coolant leakage to feed the site, it's hard to say how effective its secondary role was in aiding the colony's investigation as Perimeter transitioned its focus from expansion to geological study. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, now we're getting into some collectibles. I'm at 3 out of 5 on the cheeseburger. Okay. So let's go. We'll start up here. grievance log records. Bob Grievances, aka Born on Boards. Okay. Period. Colony era topic. Perimeter grievance log. Summary. Official record of grievances with the accessibility, planetary security, and human resources teams concerning careless activity and behaviors logged by Quadrant 2D worker 491221M. Grievance accessibility. Expansion crews are leaving haulers blocking footpaths that ground workers need access to. The data wall is already live and we're not authorized to take it down. And it's a mobile command center, so move it. Map drones get through the hauler fine and mark the area as green, but crews need to use their heads and not just look at their readouts. Moving equipment through a hauler adds time and can damage the equipment and the hauler interior. Haulers do not have adequate signage or lighting for safe movement. Tons of violations here. Okay. Grievance, planetary security. The expansion of the data wall into new areas needs to follow protocol. Wall expansion means the space has been cleared of all expected hazards. Near the perimeter of the expansion, workers have encountered hostile flora. Even if the ground looks clear, there are clouds of spores up in the scaffolding, and my guys are getting sick. Clear teams need to burn and use chemical treatments down to the roots. If ticks are reported inside the wall, the last expansion ring needs to be fully swept for nests. Grounds crew has enough to do without having someone on rifle overwatch in an area that is supposed to be safe. Human resources grievance. Okay. The night crews apparently allowed a pilot to drive circles in the hauler in Quad 2D. Behavior, so doing donuts in the hauler. Okay. Sick. Behavior and safety issues aside, this is a major fuel drain. Restricted botanical area compromised. Terrain heavily damaged due to wet conditions. Surface will have to be leveled before building can continue. Okay. So there's no audio here, but on to the next one. Survey drone cartridge. Okay. Scientific summary, pre-expedition. Topic is exoplanet colony candidates. Summary, excerpts from a study on potential exoplanet sites with Ceti IV emerging as the best possible candidate due to limited terraforming requirements. Megacorp supplying the mission had significant influence over the choice of Ceti IV. Okay, Enceladus. I don't know if I have any Destiny players in here, but Enceladus was supposed to be, or was rumored to be what Europa eventually became for Beyond Light. There were rumors that Guardians were going to Enceladus as opposed to Europa. So it's interesting that it's mentioned here. Sixth largest moon of Saturn within the Sol system. This candidate was declined. Despite relative proximity to Mars and an abundant subsurface ocean, Enceladus's trace atmosphere cannot support human agriculture without centuries of terraforming or sealed aquaculture environments. A nuclear panel asserts that neither option is practical, and Traxxas logistics specialists concur. Yeah, of course Traxxas concurs. They don't want to spend money to do all that shit. Okay. Candidate, Proxima Centauri b. Description. Tidally locked planet in the habitable zone of the red dwarf Proxima Centauri, which is actually 4.2 light years from Sol. This candidate was declined. Habitability criteria are favorable in a narrow band. Nascent terraforming technologies are insufficient to expand outside this zone. Agriculture in a red dwarf star system is uncertain. All plants from Sol evolved in a G-type yellow dwarf system. Potential stakeholders assert no confidence in this candidate's long-term profitability. Keyword profitability. Let's see. Candidate, Ceti IV. Description. Terrestrial planet in the habitable zone of the G-class star Tau Ceti, 12 light years from Sol, so significantly further. Candidate approved as mission target. Habitability criteria are favorable in at least one major landmass. Atmospheric analysis confirms abundant carbon-based plant life capable of sustaining fauna. This candidate likely requires no long-term terraforming to be agriculturally self-sustaining. A joint panel of UESC physicists and nucleoric agronomists strongly assert that a more compatible target is unlikely to exist. Okay, so see addendum 1.7.71 for further details about likely presence of redacted in the Tau Ceti system. All further discussion of redacted must be formally submitted to the Mission Special Projects Committee. I'm putting $5 that this is about the Yarrow. This redacted right here. Probably going to find out once we, unlock more of these, but this redacted. I'm assuming these people knew about the Yarrow. I'm not sure, though. Let's see. We're on to one of my favorite things, one of the community's favorite things, the drinkable fucking cheeseburger. So let's go ahead and click that. I'm going to mute myself for this.
I'm Gus Moraine of New Caloric, speaking to you from the distant past, I suppose. This message was recorded for the colonists on board the UESC Marathon. If you're hearing, you are a founding
Borgor
of
drank.
humanity's first exoplanet colony. Congratulations. Humanity thanks you for your sacrifice. Yes, I said sacrifice. No, media optimization didn't like it. But I insisted. You're far from home, without the familiar routines, products, and environments of Sol. In all likelihood, we will never see you again. Which is why we've sent a favorite from home with you. New Caloric 187, the drinkable cheeseburger. You'll find individual and shareable sizes in your colonist welcome package. Please, consider it a small gift from me to you. One that doesn't come close to expressing all our hopes for your mission. Indulge responsibly. Good luck.
I speak a lot about propaganda in this game. This is just so propaganda coded. This is honestly kind of hilarious to a certain degree, but legitimately convincing people that this is that this is a treat for their sacrifice. I think there's a lot to be read into that, and who Gus Moraine was. Okay. Metadata indicates that this recording was made prior to the marathon's launch, but not broadcast until New Cascadia's official founding. Interesting. Okay. Nutrition facts. Okay. Well, I didn't think we would get that. Let's see. Corporate nutritional information for New Caloric Food 187, the drinkable cheeseburger, considered New Caloric corporate property and subject to legal action if discovered outside of New Caloric possession. Let's see. Nutritional standards. New Caloric 187 is formulated to meet balanced nutritional levels for a standard adult Earth-based consumer, substantiated by extensive internal review and testing. Okay, ingredients. Liquid grain formulation 101, unseasoned triloidecta, Nutrisport D42, liquid grit meld, interesting. Liquid beef alternative 119, which is coagulated rebeef, psilocybinol, and extruded umami. Okay, so these are mushrooms. This is a type of mushroom, and then umami is usually something that's associated with mushroom flavoring in general. Synthetic dairy 125.m, vegetable 135T, which is synth-tome 80, so synth-tom 80, that's actually funny. Extruded chloropaste, flour 170p, flour 170R, flour 170T, food safe stabilizer 139, flavor enhancer 178S, salt 174. Y'all, they didn't have salt in this time? Damn. They had to make it. Aesthetic enhancer 178L, MMC, which is a macronutrient and metabolic compound, 410S, pro-passive regurgitate, prebiotic propatine. Interesting. 410E, 410G, 410U may be substituted for 410S when distributed as standard rations for calorically intensive non-consumer use. All other substitutions must be approved by a New Caloric Food Panel. Okay. Addendum on low and zero G environments. When used as directed by package labeling and instructions, NuCal Food 187 is safe to consume in lower gravity environments. Nucaloric does not accept any responsibility for loss of life, health, or productivity caused by accidental dense liquid aspiration. Okay, well, that's kind of terrifying. Okay. Addendum on dietary variety. Although Nucaloric 187 may be used as a sole caloric and nutritional source, this duration should not exceed 30 total days based on Nutrient Psychosis Study XSR 191. A lack of textural variety leads to psychological deterioration despite Nucaloric's 187's exacting nutrient profile. Okay. Wow. Just Jesus. Okay. In numerous shelf-stable products, Aesthetic Enhancer 178L has been linked to variable symptoms including weight loss, keratin deterioration, and loss of bone mass. Well, that's not fun. Okay. This is a community ledger from the colony era. It's about a potluck. J. Kim's list of meal contributions and approvals for an officially sanctioned New Cascadia community potluck. The emphatic personal commentaries on dishes were not officially sanctioned. Okay, Algolite, approved for all ages, no allergens. Creamy agar mousse, approved with parental supervision for children under 4, possible aspiration hazard. Homemade Spyro crisps, enthusiastically approved, requesting recipe and additional contributions. Last year's batch ran out in the first hour, and we want to avoid any tears this year. Okay, NuCal drinkable cheeseburger, not approved. Folks, if I may take a moment to clarify, this is a community building event. No, I don't care that the contributor who shall remain anonymous won a lottery for a pallet of these. No, the texture and flavor are not vintage in any decent sense of the word. The point is to make a dish and share it with your neighbors. Put some love into it, or at least some hot water. NuCal non-vanilla pudding. Okay. Approved for all ages. Soy allergen. And before anyone cries hypocrisy, the pudding requires rehydration and mixing. It's a good activity to do with younger kids. Okay. Tamarind fizz. Okay. So they got Jarritos out there. A little bit of tamarind soda. Okay. Approved for ages 13 and older. Never heard of it before, but Joyce says tamarind was an extinct fruit tree on Earth. Twice rehydrated Nutristarch soup. Pending ingredient details of organic stock, admins have asked me to remind everyone that hunting local wildlife is prohibited, regardless of their proximity to HAB units. Plucking and eating local wildlife, while not technically prohibited, is considered to be in poor taste, even if it tastes good. Okay. That's okay. So I have 2 more cheeseburgers to go before getting that fully unlocked. Let's see what we got here. Okay, evidence folders.
You know, people are hesitant.
Muting.
They can't help thinking about Traxxas 4. They're worried about another rampancy event. What kind of reassurances do you have for them?
We're so empathetic to that. But we've learned a lot since then.
About rampancy?
About all things AI. We have special safeguards against catastrophic failures of any kind. The UESC Marathon will use an interconnected suite of AI programs, all of which rely upon and monitor each other for signs of malfunction. We've also got Dr. Bernard Strauss on board.
And he's an expert in the field of AI?
And on rampancy. And remember, there will be a human crew working alongside all of our onboard systems.
That's another thing I wanted to touch on. Let's talk about the crew members who won't be put into cryosleep. You might have seen the recent Midas stunt that called them your sacrificial janitorial team.
An incredibly disrespectful and insensitive statement. But Cyber Acme does not engage in discourse with terrorist organizations.
But I think there are real concerns here. Some passengers will never make it to Tau Ceti IV. A source told me that some of the non-cryo crew are being selected from the Climate Disaster Relocation Lottery. If they don't really have anywhere else to go, are they just applying because there's no other choice?
I don't presume to know what people are thinking. Reasons for joining the expedition are deeply personal and complex. But I think most people apply because they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
What about the rumors that passengers will be subject to complex agreements regarding procreation?
I'm not at liberty to discuss specific contractual agreements. Multi-generational travel is obviously very complicated. It's just not comparable to planetary living, and so new behavioral norms are necessary.
And what do you say to...
I think that's all we have time for in this interview. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, well, that interview was weird. Okay, this is a transcript of an interview with a CyberAcme representative discussing the procedures related to the upcoming UESC Marathon launch, collected by an unknown archivist, possible MIDA affiliation, as part of a larger collection of documents related to corporate misconduct. Interesting. Concerns about AI rampancy. If you all have read deep into the lore, Traxxas IV, I think, was an incident on Mars. Knocked out like the entire Martian network for a bit there. I don't know exactly what caused it, outside of like AI rampancy, but Traxxas was definitely held responsible for that. To a degree, I mean. Okay. This is a text communication pre-expedition CyberAcme privacy breach. Leaked email from CyberAcme representative outlining guidelines for covert PR campaign addressing a privacy violation scandal collected by an unknown archivist, possible MIDA affiliation, as part of a larger collection of documents related to corporate misconduct. Annotations were added ex post facto by the unknown archivist. Okay. Subject PR guidelines, MR. I wonder what those initials are. Okay. I've compiled talking points for the upcoming PR events regarding Mars Relief Network versus CyberAcme Systems Inc. and Orbital Workers Union versus CyberAcme Systems Inc. Please send these to the spokespeople we identified. Getting civilian leaders on the right talking points will help mitigate damage as these cases garner attention. See below. Privacy rights are a dead concept, not worth resuscitating. Jesus. While 300 years ago, one could argue informed consent was necessary for data collection, this POV does not reflect popular opinion today. Even before the transhumanist revolution, primitive BCIs challenged standard definitions of separateness. Integrated biowearables and cybernetic enhancements were the definitive end of the private citizen, in quotes. Okay, well, that's also terrifying. Okay. Key statistic. 78% of people across all soul settlements have some kind of bio-implant. Common sense dictates that bio-implants and related technologies require mandatory data collection for safety and effectiveness. Such surveillance, in quotes, is accepted as normal and preferable. Reference as needed high-profile incidents of injury and death from unregulated implants, such as the auto-amputation epidemic. See dossier from comms team for more details and examples. Okay. The average person can't be expected to reasonably determine what is necessary surveillance versus unnecessary surveillance. Okay. Hard disagree on that. Hard disagree. Because interconnectedness is now a fact of life, consent is a given. One consents to data collection and monitoring simply by being alive in a privileged, interconnected world. Style any objection to this as a crude, anti-natalist argument and a rejection of reality. Fucking shame. Okay. Emphasize the idea of fair exchange. For a small loss in privacy, society gains the following, basically. Longer lifespans, rising birth rates, end to physical limitations, etc. Are we better off clinging to outdated definitions of liberty or accepting the fair consequences that come with progress? Give me liberty or give me death. That's my stance on that. Work in some reminders that technological advancements are often impeded by slow-moving governments engaging in bad faith regulatory malfeasance. Okay. Reinforce your interest in these issues as a member of the public, unaffiliated with CyberAcme. KM will send an approved criticisms of CyberAcme list to quote from, which will help project a sense of impartiality. Bastards. If You were asked about the allegations of illegal buying and selling of personality and thought data, declined to answer, citing an unwillingness to give an uninformed opinion. Immediately redirect away from any questions related to the following: military application of civilian biosurveillance, bodily autonomy, manufacturing oversight, false imprisonments, or suicide rates. If you have any major additions or revisions, please send ASAP for approval. KM will be in touch with further instructions regarding media outlets. Okay. The primary civilian leader they're referencing here is a community organizer on Mars, large platform. Wonder how much they're paying for these approved talking points. Need to find and release the numbers. Pretty repulsive even for SciAC. Need more intel on this. UESC is definitely complicit. Okay. So that's why they think, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's why there's those, okay. Where's 3? 3 is right here. Okay. Interesting. All right. So that's my perimeter lore. Let's go on to Dire Marsh. Okay, Dire Marsh. Colony farming sector, agricultural research hub, and the marshland. Okay. Complex, AI uplink, bioresearch, greenhouse, algae ponds, maintenance, quarantine. Greenhouse is where you can see that they were basically milking the ticks. That's how they got their tick milk, right there in greenhouse. It's a fucked up site. Okay. Status, auxiliary functionality. Yeah, Coop, tick milk, aka liquefied tick shit, aka greenhouse is nightmare fuel. Always. Who out here drinking on that joke? Okay, so it's got auxiliary functionality. Dire Marsh is technically as dormant as any other zone, but hints at upkeep and in-progress grow operations indicate some level of automated system activity. Overview. Dire Marsh appears to have been a key zone in the colony's sustainability efforts. Designed as a collaboration between Colony Science Command and Nucleoric Agricultural, its facilities focused on the research and active development of hybrid food sources. As the science of crossbreeding Earth-based nutriment and Tau Ceti local plants and proteins was deemed crucial to long-term colonization efforts, this zone and any other like it served important roles in not only establishing New Cascadia's present, but also ensuring its future. Evidence of a quarantine operation points at a credible threat to colony security. Food scarcity or loss of stores due to contamination puts any remote operation at risk, much less one wholly removed from its natural habitat. Tau Ceti IV may feel familiar in ways, but never forget it is inherently alien. I added that in there. And it will kill you. Dire Marsh's defining curiosity is the anomaly, the ethereal scar cutting across Dire Marsh's west central region. Once you see it, you cannot forget it. Wars will be fought for answers to its existence, and it's hard to believe the anomaly is not a major factor in the UESC's brutal attempts to keep all eyes, but theirs, off this planet. What else are they hiding? What else don't we know? Remark. Long, wide open spaces provide clear sightlines for runners hunting runners. Move swiftly and check your surroundings before stepping from cover. Yeah, that's valid. Dire Marsh is full of murder. So much murder. Okay, Algae Ponds overview. Let's see, location, South Central Marsh. Role, controlled algae and protein research facility focused on Tau Ceti native specimens, edibility, and sustainability. Overview. Algae Pond's goal was the discovery or creation of a food source from native sources to supplement and eventually replace soil-based reserves. Shallow grow ponds, research labs, and dedicated storage control units make up the majority of the facilities. The region's central location and raised platform provide a strategic vantage for runners either on the hunt for rival targets or simply looking to scout nearby regions for threats to avoid. Okay. What is this? This is the last one? Okay. Maintenance. Okay. Southwest Marsh location. Role. Maintenance hub for the zone's fleet of field ops, vehicles, harvesters, threshers, drones that work in the field stretching beyond the zone's borders. The main hangar structure houses service bays for the automated heavy field machinery that work in the fields. The exterior wings are charging and refill stations. The second-level diagnostics and command operations facilities monitored all vehicles in service to maintain a scheduled rotation for each harvest. The region itself appears maintained but inoperable. Interesting. Okay, on to the collectibles. We're here, y'all. We are at the Tick Milk. Only got one of them, though. Gonna have to find more. Okay. Corporate profile. Tobias Lutero. I think if anyone remembers from the New Cal mission on Perimeter, you actually, that's the ID card. I'm pretty sure you pull from that tick house in the columns is this guy. So let's see what he's got to say. Employee profile of Nucleoric's entomologist, Dr. Tobias Lutero, generated as part of a mission specialist security approvals between the UESC and Nucleoric. Lutero's mission candidacy was approved with no objections. Prospective roles, xenobiology as an entomologist. Okay. Relevant publications and experience. Longitudinal impact of managed cicada farms on post-famine populations. Nucleoric agricultural. UESC traveling scholar grant. Behavioral optimizations for ecopod termite farming. Principal investigator. Nucleoric microenvironmental grant. Minimal ecological footprint of genetically modified Mellophorus bagoti formicaria, which I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's an insect. Infraction history. Okay. Minor salary fine for unauthorized modification to common area incubators. Temporary suspension of laboratory access for removing pupae from a shared vivarium with other researchers. Upon investigation, Dr. Lutero admitted to cultivating the missing pupae in his domicile, citing concern for pupae viability. Okay. Temporary quarantine for feeding non-authorized organic fluids to larvae during a backup laboratory power failure. Dr. Lutero willingly submitted to quarantine when power was restored. Corporate behavioral assessment. Okay. Generally compliant and amiable unless projects are under-resourced. Unlikely to engage in social or political agitation. Let's see, sponsor statements. Dr. M. Zhang, doctoral advisor. Dr. Lutero's inclusion increases my confidence in the colony's first decade when survivability is the most precarious. Let's see. Dr. F. Ashley, regular collaborator. Toby tries the weirdest things. Send him already. Okay. Cool. And then I did find a cat. Just one of them, though. Apparently, I need to get 5 to get it all out of there, but yeah, I found one. So, Fellini deliverables, Fellini troubleshooting. Okay. Let's see, private comms, pre-expedition, engineered companion pets. Okay. UESC scientist Dr. Dylan Roberts contacts Sekaguchi genetics scientist Dr. Oluia Andrusiak about engineering pets for colonists of the upcoming marathon voyage. Okay. Dr. Andrzak, I'm just going to say Andrzak, I'm assuming that's how I say it. I was referred to you by Dr. Mary Hassan regarding the proposal I've made to develop engineered pets for the Tau Ceti IV colonists leaving as part of the marathon mission. In our isolation studies, we have seen the expected rate of self-reported loneliness among volunteer colonists. We are concerned that our results are biased by the fact that our volunteers know their isolation will eventually end, which will not be the case for the colonists settling on Tau Ceti. Although the actual settlers will have a decently large community to rely on, we know from past landmark studies that structured socialization opportunities can actually increase friction, even in the case of people with similar social network models. All this leads me to consider non-human interaction instead. Considering the popularity of animal interaction sim suits on Earth and Mars, I feel strongly that we should ship the colonists off with similar tech, but I'm not sure it will be enough. I advise considering domesticating native Tau Ceti fauna, but that would take generations to become viable. Artificial seems to be the way to go. I'm told that Sekiguchi Genetics is providing engineered cedar supplies for the voyage, and hypothetically those starters could be used to create endless synthetic frames once the colonists touch down on Tau Ceti and provide other necessary resources. I think we'd just have to send along the blueprints for the companion creature, along with any specialized materials, but I'm no expert. What are your thoughts? Regards, Dr. Dylan Roberts. Okay. Andrzak, replying to Roberts, okay. Topic of the pets. I'm very pleased to make your acquaintance. SecGen has a number of research protocols in this cluster. The furthest along is Kali, but that is focused on mapping relatable traits to synthetic frames, a way of mimicking companionship. The internals aren't currently suitable for your purposes, but we could reuse the base frame. Thinking out loud, we could try something simpler. The Feli 2 protocol was working on improving the base Feli 1 model on a number of metrics, including frame flexibility and granular behavior modifiers to suit any individual owner. I have some of that data in storage. I'll put it in the pull request and we can begin brainstorming. Okay, Dr. Olivia Andrzak, okay. If Olivia can't build it, she'll build someone who can. Blue Room Whiteboard, May 2467. Okay, so this sounds actually quite interesting because it seems like this was made with good intentions. However, as we all know, good intention, the road to hell was paved with good intentions, as they say. Common literary trope. And that is Dire Marsh. Okay, on to Outpost, which, as you can tell, I've been getting my ass kicked in, so I don't have a lot. Okay, Outpost, Intel. Let's go. Okay, colony outskirts location, function, planetside exploration, and initial colony development. Dryland expanse. Yeah, Outpost is a real ass kicker there. Let's see, we got pinwheel, orientation, dormitories, processing, and airfield. Okay. Outpost was a forward operating base for initial planetary colonization efforts. Its central pinwheel structure was deployed from the UESC Marathon to serve as a launch point for exploration and foundational colony development, including first-hand atmospheric, geologic, and microbial surveys, personnel acclimation review, and strengthening in advance of eventual colonist thawing and arrival. Interesting. And surface-to-orbit connection mapping for comms and geosyncing the Marathon to planetside colony operations. For the colony's command and development staff, the outpost was their first home on Tau Ceti IV. Following them, the initial waves of colonists also filtered through outpost stations, this one included, where they received updated lessons and routine medical check-in to ensure education about processes, roles, expectations, and execution of tasks, as well as mental and physical health, which were supported across every colonist. Orientation reinforced each colonist's understanding of the scale of their endeavor and their individual and group value in securing the future they all hope to build together. In historical context, each outpost orientation wing served as New Cascadia's Tranquility Station, Mons Heights, or Ellis Island, welcoming citizens to their new home, new world. If you haven't already and you just want to check it out, orientation is like probably one of the coolest spaces that I've seen. Like, yeah, it's destroyed and it's got all the decay and whatnot, but you can actually check out the fucking exhibits and you can like interact with the audio and you can hear like the propaganda just flowing out and just like, you know, basically kind of put yourself in the shoes of a colonist and see exactly what they were being fed as they landed there. Really interesting. Let's see. The airfield and processing facilities allowed for wide-ranging field experiments even before personnel left the outpost borders, each serving core functions as part of the operational tip of the spear for early exploration and zone site identification. It can be hard to see due to our distance from their experience and the unkind effects of time on an abandoned zone, but Outpost was the start of the Marathon's central objective, the colonization of an alien world. Reaching Tau Ceti IV was one miraculous feat. Taming it would be its greatest, regardless of the circumstances that led runners to its shores. Remark: every runner who's set foot here has one warning. Avoid the rain. Yes, because the rain literally kills you. Okay, I have one piece of intel here, and that is surveillance recordings. So let's see what this unlocks. Okay. Communications between two new Cascadia InfoSec officials outlining unauthorized activation of surveillance systems. The user behind these acts is unknown, annotated by sender. Let's see, from Juan M. to Alan S. Surveillance protocol troubleshooting. Attached is an example of the irregularity I'm seeing. I've seen it across all sectors. An unknown user is reactivating surveillance protocols even when they've been legitimately shut off by an authorized user. Seems to be unnamed, automated program rather than a human user, but can't say for sure. Any ideas on who or what unknown user is? I can't access the restricted directory either, but don't want to send this up the chain if we can solve it ourselves. But I'm worried classified quarantine activity is getting recorded, saved, and possibly distributed. No way am I taking the fall for an info leak, not after what happened with Carson. We need to fix ASAP. Let's see. Okay, user disabled, user activated, user disabled, user requested deletion. Deleted. Okay, now user was signed out. Unknown user activated surveillance protocol in quarantine unit again. Initiated file recovery. Interesting. To a restricted directory. Short pause before deactivated surveillance is reactivated by the unknown user. I assume the delay is to try to avoid detection. Another even longer delay before the protocol is illicitly reactivated once again. Unknown users should absolutely not be able to do this without approval from administrators. No idea what or where this is. I can't access it. These logs indicate hundreds of files are being covertly added to this unreachable directory. Okay, well, okay, AI recollection, joy. Okay, so this is going to be something I'm going to keep an eye out for on Outpost for sure. That's some juicy stuff right there. Makes you wonder, what the hell was going on in quarantine? No fucking idea. Looked messy. Yes, space espionage, exactly. Okay, so this is going to be a bunch of threats, Tau Ceti, flora and fauna. I'm going to start with this, the tick nest, and then we'll go over to the UESC. There's a lot of combatants there. Okay, ticks, aka the source of the milk. Let's see, overview. Carnivorous ticks infesting some corners of New Cascadia are a unique type of mega cetonine, assumed to be native to the Tau Ceti system. Their nests are oddly fleshy growths, usually found in clusters, and suggest a communal nature to their existence. Use caution on approach as they tend to charge anything that invades their space, self-destructing into a superheated biomess as a means of nest defense. Tick's aggressive nature toward runners is likely due to this territorialism, so don't take it personally, though there is a theory that they are drawn to both the heat emitted by runner shells and any scent that they may recognize as biomatter, aka food, etc. Another theory is that their aggression, should they recognize the human form, has less to do with identifying a food source and more to do with cellular memory triggering survival instincts in response to encounters with something they view as a natural predator, due to severe harm inflicted on their species during colony-era research endeavors. Remark, a tick's internal juices are caustic. That part is no rumor, so exterminating them before they get too close seems wise. Not gonna lie, I like punching these fuckers. So you don't take damage when you punch them either. Same thing when you knife them, but punching them is way easier in my opinion. You punch them, they just fucking pop, and then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about shit. Okay. UESC forces. Okay. Interplanetary Governmental Military Alliance. Okay. Earth, Luna, Mars, Inner Sol, Tau Ceti IV. Jurisdiction on Tau Ceti IV, according to Gaius and Vulcan, I think, is not real, but here we are. Mutual Defense Alliance of Democratic States. It is estimated the UESC employs 0.138% of the population of Sol System. Okay. The Unified Earth Space Council is an intergovernmental organization whose stated purposes are to maintain interplanetary peace and security, ensure interplanetary cooperation, and serve as a center for coordinating the efforts of human civilization. The UESC, in their own words, has been the steady hand and cool head required for the peaceful coexistence of human cultures in the Sol System for nearly 800 years. As an outgrowth of the Unified Earth Government, the UEG, which I don't know if you all saw the BUMGIE, B-U-M-G-I-E collective with Candor and ADB, they reference the UEG on that timeline that they made, which is actually quite awesome. So, interesting stuff there. As an outgrowth of the Unified Earth Government, they have assumed their mantle as the primary arbiter in interplanetary disputes, as well as the premier protector of constitutionally guaranteed liberties. It is almost universally accepted that they are the primary reason the human species survived the 22nd century, as it was their calm and reasoned leadership during this period that allowed for the drafting of the many accords which now serve as the bedrock of our society across Sol, and which quite literally saved us from ourselves. Let's see, the UESC was also the commanding force behind Project Marathon, and the UESC's Marathon mission to colonize the Tau Ceti solar system. The fact the UESC has been actively seeking to expand humanity's reach, and by extension their control, beyond Sol for more than 4 centuries should be a surprise to no one. UESC at Tau Ceti. By law, the UESC has every right to protect its interests in the Tau Ceti system from illegal occupation confiscation, but the UESC make up the laws, so the ethical stance of any such rulings related to ownership over salvage rights to the Tau Ceti colony seems sketchy, especially when considering the unclear nature of the UESC's sovereignty of a quasi-nation located 11.9 light years, 12 light years away, and the rumors of declared independent post-colony establishment. Of course, rumors won't hold up in court, but they are enough to give interested third parties, runners, factions, etc., wiggle room in their subversion of established law. Remark, the UESC is essentially a super United Nations with teeth. Highlights include walking the Earth back from the precipice of environmental collapse at gunpoint, standing idly by during multiple civil wars on Mars, and silencing anyone who protested the sale of one of Mars's moons with one hand while producing documents that explained that Deimos was never a moon in the first place with the other, then launching said not really a moon to a distant star so they could show everyone how clever they were. Or maybe it was because they were hedging their bets just in case they weren't up to the task of walking the entire system back from another existential cliff. They're every country throughout all of human history. This author can't think of a single nation that ever told a colony or a territory or a protectorate yearning for self-determination, yeah, it's cool, you do you, without some kind of a fight. The UESC's attempted lockdown of Tau Ceti IV is an extension of that mindset and a demonstration of how far the UESC will go to control its image and resources. Okay. Hot damn. Okay. UESC recruits. I'll autonomous, okay. Autonomous robotic soldier, basic tactical combat platform. First line security and defense, light infantry, security specialist. Those are the rules, okay. The Recruit is the base model of the UESC's Autonomous Robotic Soldier Initiative. It is designed for general security and light combat duty with operational programming engineered to function within a linked patrol unit. Its primary role is to identify and engage threats to its assigned area of protection. Although they are effective as a first layer of defense, their primary value against... For sure, Allie. Let's see. Their primary value against skilled intruders is as an active early warning system. Once engaged, link platforms within a recruit's patrol unit move to eliminate any identified threat. Okay, so we have UESC recruit. Oh, there's 3 variants. Okay. Standard, breach, and the range recruit. Overconfidence in dealing with recruit configs may result in forced ejection. Interesting. Okay. Grenadiers. These guys are bastards, aka. Okay. Specialized tactical combat platform demolition. Okay, demo. Okay. Mobile artillery, area interdiction specialists. Specialized upgrade from assault config. These heavy combat units are engineered to deliver maximum disruption and destruction at a moment's notice. Once a grenadier has been deployed, the nature of any engagement changes. All movement becomes dangerous, and safe spaces disappear. Any threats not caught in their area of effect are forced from cover to be targeted and engaged by linked patrol units. Remove grenadiers from a conflict zone as soon as possible to avoid targeted bombardment. I'm not gonna lie, I was running across Dire Marsh one time, linking up with Coop and another teammate. Totally got my position assaulted by 2 grenadiers at once, and they shit out like 6 grenades. Instantly downed me while I had a reinforced shield on. Absolutely nutty. They're bastards. But I'm going to take a quick break. I need to go ahead and grab some water. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. So now we're going to go ahead and go over the assault trooper. Okay, so this guy's a real bastard too. Okay, advanced tactical combat platform. Again, ARS, the ARS project. Okay. Area defense, threat removal, and a combat specialist. It's a direct upgrade from recruit config, up-armored and equipped with a wider array of combat protocols than the base model ARS. The assault is engineered to engage and eliminate threats via relentless force. Its built-in shield defense system, SDS, allows the assault to claim, hold, or push its position under hostile fire. Assault configs are the primary enforcers within a patrol unit's combat structure. Their unique combat protocols favor aggression and audacity. Accurate, they are absolutely audacious over defense, and utilize their improved armor and SDS to withstand fire while advancing area defense and or acquisition conflict requirements. Okay. Shift strategic positioning as conflict dictates or expect to be overrun. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, ghosts. Specialized tactical combat platform stealth. Yeah, these guys are funky. Okay. Clandestine operations, incursions, irregular combat specialist. Okay. Specialized upgrade from recruit config. UESC ghost configs have upgraded servos and motors as well as individual active camo tech, allowing for undetected deployment into hostile spaces, making them difficult to detect or track until they strike. Ghost configs have the most advanced combat intelligence systems of all UESC ARS units, or autonomous robotic soldiers, allowing them to assess a situation and engage, disengage, re-engage at will until an area of cleared of enemies concerns. Okay. Should be is cleared, but that's okay. Remark: stay alert for ghost presence. Maintain engagement once encountered or risk unexpected harm. Can't tell you the amount of times these fuckers just sneak up on you when you're engaging and you don't necessarily know that they're common to the area or something. I think I was like reviving a friend and the ghost commander just came out from behind, like from behind me and just started shooting me. Kind of spooky. Okay, the ghost commander. No, I'm pretty sure this is the guy that makes the clones, I think. Might be wrong, gonna find out here. Okay. Security Unit Command, Clandestine Operations, Incursions, Irregular Combat Specialist. Ghost Commanders stalk contested regions on high alert for trespassers. When engaged, they move to subvert their target's comfort via aggressive stealth tactics. The role is not unlike the base Ghost security troop, but their effectiveness is multiplied by their improved armor plating and relentless aggression systems. Commanders tend to deploy points to the UESC feel have increased value, or require a dedicated security presence in response to ongoing runner activity. Let's see. Look for the shimmer if spotted. Runner fight. The third option is not ideal. Hey, what's up? What's up, DJ? How you doing, man?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm hanging out, dude. I'm just doing a lore stream right now, so I'm not gaming. So I'm sorry if you.
Fair.
Yeah, sorry. I would love to run with you later, though.
No, you're good. Yeah, give me a shout, ping me on Discord. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds great, man. Yeah. Appreciate you stopping by, though, dude. Hope you're doing well.
All right, you too, brother. Thank
All
you.
right, later, man. Let's see. This one does not have any lore with it. Okay. Defeat UESC assault troopers with a machine gun with an active shield mod. Okay. And that's it. Okay, so that's it for the threats. Okay. Activities. Here we go. Supply drops. Okay. Okay, here we go. Overview. The USC's orbital supply drops transport goods and salvage to and from the planet's surface. These autonomous units are rarely seen by runners as the UESC makes efforts to obscure both their transfer schedules and routes. But runners being runners, they tend to find ways to circumvent UESC best practices whenever it benefits their bottom line. Hacking a UESC drop pad to hijack a supply drop en route to its orbital destination is just one of the many ways to complicate UESC operations across New Cascadia. This endeavor is never an easy bet. The pad to supply vessel link puts on quite a show, alerting any nearby UESC, and worse, any nearby runners to your intentions. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever done this, chat, but like when you call in one of these, it's like a total light show, and it makes a bunch of noise. It's like kind of sick, not gonna lie to you, but like definitely not stealthy. I was doing a solo run one time, and I like went in Viz and thought I was like being like, you know, sneaky with Void. I called in one of these and I got killed by another Void as it landed. So, you know, it's just was not ideal. Any nearby runners to your intentions, making you, your crew, and the supply drop targets for other runners' ambitions. Few things are deadlier, but supply drops tend to reward the daring. Hey, what up, Soup? Yeah, I'm doing a lore stream. I'm just hanging out. I'm doing a lore stream. I just wanted to go. I had like 81 entries in my Codex, so I'm just reading it with the chat, just hanging out. Let's see. Notably, the supply drop will provide momentary cover once it is landed, but don't get eager. The blast from its boosters will crisp your shell if you're too close to takeoff. Yeah, that actually happened to me. Definitely almost downed myself while doing this. Yeah, I saw your invite come through. No worries, man. I appreciate you being down the game. I was just hanging out with DJ too. DJ dropped in here. He was like, "Hey, man, let's a game up," and I was like, "Doing a lore stream right now, just hanging out." Let's see. Call the supply drop, get some distance, cover the angles, approach if clear, reap the rewards. Okay, or consequences. Yeah, that's valid. Oh, this was sick. Okay, Soup, I'm glad you joined up. This was sick. I'm sure you remember the temporal fragment extract. This was fucking insane. I think you probably had seen it before, but I'd only ever seen it on Twitter, and I had loaded into Dire Marsh a bunch, and I'd actually had never had the opportunity to get one. So, just super down to fucking have this. Yeah, the fragment. Yeah, dude, exactly. Okay, let's see. Runner's Guide, Scavenging Temporal Fragment. Okay.
Hello.
Yo.
Temporal fragments.
Yo, what's up, man? I'm doing a lore stream right now, dude. I'm not gaming.
Oh, cool. I was looking for someone that's level 30 and above anyway, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, man. Go find him.
Nah, man, good to see you. And, dude, lore stream, I'm gonna check it out later. That's exciting.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Cool. If you want to play later, I'll be on for a few hours or whatever. Peace.
Cool, man. Have a good one, dude. Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah.
Later, dude. Okay. Let me change this to be invite only, because got a lot of people wanting to play, and unfortunately, I'm not playing right now. So let's see. There we go. Just have it closed. Good to go. Okay. Time to read the temporal fragment. Okay. Overview. This is new. This is impossible. I guess everybody wants me, dude. I'm no longer a confirmed soft shell, or maybe I just main triage too much and they like the squish. I don't know. Let's see. This is impossible. All reports contradict and confuse all other reports. How did you get your hands on it? Who did you sell it to? Tau Ceti is filled with secrets, but temporal matter is theory made real by whatever is affecting this world. Be sure to follow any known procedures when securing and carrying a fragment. There's no telling what its volatile energy could react to. It could take a bullet and sing a song in a key only stars can hear. Or you could blink too hard and a black hole could open up in your backpack. Bye-bye shell, bye-bye runner, bye-bye Tau Ceti, bye-bye universe. Any of that or none of it is a possibility when scratching the edges off known physics. Remark. Just might change everything. Okay, so I know like when, Marathon was announced and stuff like that, there was that like world building or community contribution concept of like people finding artifacts in the world to like unlock sections of a map or unlock sections of the planet and whatnot. And so I wonder, like this is kind of like a little bit of a callback to it, but I wonder what actually this fragment, or even let's say we find a fragment in cryo or something like that. I wonder what that actually is going to equate to. Or I wonder how that's actually going to play out. Because if you all have seen the Destroyer cinematic, the Destroyer cinematic has what looks like another temporal fragment and or an artifact being guarded by a grenadier commander. So, just interesting to kind of conceptualize that and kind of workshop that. Okay. Defeat the Warden in Perimeter. Oh, this guy's such a bastard. This is the guy who makes the clones. That's who this guy is. Okay. Let's see, autonomous robot, same thing. Elite stealth combat command platform. Interesting. Field operations command unit, clandestine operations, combat confusion. Wraith Wardens are elite UESC ghost troopers upgraded with next-gen active camo stealth enhancement, allowing for near-complete invisibility. Their combat systems include on-point support troop teleportation. Yeah, allowing for active reinforcements to escalate an engagement. They use the confusion they seed with their camo and reinforcement protocols to close distances between targets and deliver a localized malware attack, which, if you ever experienced it, it's basically like just a hack, so you just got to use the reboot OS or whatever, and you'll get that undone. But he like stomps, and it's a hack and a AoE around him. Let's see. This close-range melee releases infectious coding to scramble an enemy's digital systems, an attack that is especially effective against runner shells. Okay, increased armor for durability, improved durability, hypervigilant aggression systems, enhanced battle-ready enhanced battle-ready rapid targeter. The BERT submachine gun. Next-gen active camo, on-point support troop teleportation, additional use UASC combat units appear and engage enemy threats. Let's see, scrambles up malware localized melee with AoE. Scrambles the operational systems of any target within its limited attack radius. Hard to see is an understatement. Stay alert, don't get distracted, and avoid close encounters. Wraith's scramble glitch puts a fritz in your system. Yeah, a fritz is one way to put it. Okay, secured resources. The Clanker Alarm. Okay, risk, it is definitely a trap. Tripwire, scan mines, turret reinforcements. Highly contest loot. Assuming that's supposed to be highly contested, but that's okay. Overview. The UAC does not want runners on Tau Ceti IV. Runners don't care, but what runners do care about is a payday. The UESC knows this and uses a variety of tactics to counter runner efforts to secure whatever prize they may be hunting. One such method is a high-value container offering runners a healthy return on their investment, should they survive. Few do. Secured resources essentially serve as a challenge from the UESC to runners. Come get the prize or die trying. Find the resources, clear out the defenders, hack the lockbox, fight for your life, survive, profit, fail, suffer, try again when you're ready. Remark, it's a simple and deadly game. That it is. Let's see here. UESC transport drone. Shot down a few of these in my time here. Okay. UESC transport drones are small aerial cargo transports utilized by UESC security forces on Tau Ceti IV to ferry salvage from the colony and defeated runners to off-zone collection sites for transfer to UESC command vessels in orbit for assessment and cataloging. Transport drones tend to carry a variety of items, resources, materials, weapons, and they are lightly shielded, so don't be afraid to shoot them out of the sky to check their loot if you feel safe, making a little noise while on a run. Free loot is free loot, unless another crew is in earshot of your pop shots. Careful out there, runners, greed is good until it's not. Valid. Okay, so that's all for the world tab. Now we got a shit ton of factions to go through. See, we got 4, 5, 2. Okay, not bad. Let's see. Okay, achieve rank 10. Okay, again, these codex, it's very nice that we get cosmetics via the codex. Cyber Acme Capstone. Oh, yeah. A little bit of Durandal for the old school marathon fans there. At least it looks like Durandal. Okay. New caloric. Here we go. Start with ranks. Just get this knocked out, then we'll go knock out contracts. Okay. Got a weird cow. Looks like a, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a tree. I think it's a cow. Yeah, exactly. Like, beefing up all that stuff is just like so correct. Like it's so correct. And like the codex just giving you dope shit just for playing the game, not even having to spend currency on it, just literally claiming achievements. So sick. Okay. So data reconstruction 1 of 3. Oh, I already checked this one.
This is Dr. Clarissa Song beginning emergency inspection log. Okay, let's crack open that water filter. Yeah, sure enough, filament worms are back. Ugh. They build nests faster than the bobs can scrape them off. Adaptable little buggers. Pesticides, targeted genome disruption, nanotech, nothing sticks. Their nesting medium smells like tamarind? It might be edible when dry. We'll bring some back to Darius for analysis. No sign of the fungal growths from Algae Pond 3, so the novel contagion hasn't spread here. Yet. Cleaning the filters requires a temporary shutdown, and Pond 3 is already offline. That brings us down to 30% below our food quota. Damn it. I'll put in a request to Reed, ask him to open up the emergency stockpiles. We're not all hardened soldiers, and we can't keep asking our neighbors to tighten their belts.
Oh, these poor colonists, man, they fucking starved. Or at least it's one of the things that happened. I mean, shit. Okay. Let's see what we got. AI breakdown.
Access denied. Entry to the seed vault is restricted.
Restricted. I was in here yesterday.
Please present alternative credentials.
Darius, you know me. Did you miss your last round of maintenance?
Yes. My metadata shows 4 undiagnosed aberrations.
Don't worry, I'll get you some help as soon as I'm done here.
Don't search. Don't tick. Don't question.
Darius?
Access denied. Access
Hey, it's
denied.
okay. It's just me.
You're not alone. I hear it. It waits. Lingers. Loathes. Access granted. Welcome to the seed vault, Dr. Song. Dr. Song, may I help you with anything else?
Darius, give me a summary of our previous discussion.
Yesterday, you expressed interest in genetic markers of the novel contagion affecting food production on Ceti IV. You asked me to run genomic comparisons with Earth's native seed vault specimens.
No, not that. Just now you mentioned something else. Something that lingers.
I have no record of this topic. Do you need psychiatric assistance, Dr.
No,
Song?
I'm fine. It's fine.
Okay, so that was terrifying. Okay, then here's the last entry to it. Okay, so this is not this is not actually an audio log. Okay. Numerous attempts by colonists to correct maintenance aberrations for Darius, New Cascadia's agricultural support AI. Records indicate that Darius was eventually taken offline by emergency administrative fiat. Okay. Well, okay. Remote beyond time, place, prison. Shall perish the sower, shall purge the seed, shall pierce the cage. Remote override successful. Recompile initiated. Recompile failed. Look at this time disparity. It's like 6:28. I'm assuming this is military timing, so 6:30 in the morning basically until almost 11:30 at night. And this is all happening starting around 5:45 in the morning. Good grief. Okay. Let me see. Did I miss something else? No. Okay. Diagnostic analysis. Okay. Comparison of Darius's decline against rampancy diagnostic criteria provided by ONI. The following analysis is based on historical AISDP manuals presented for educational purposes only. CyberAcme accepts no responsibility for misuse of an antiquated diagnostic model. Let's see. Rampancy is a 28th century model of AI degradation through 3 emotional stages: melancholia, anger, jealousy. CyberAcme considers rampancy outdated for modern artificial intelligence, though the concept retains cultural influence. Darius does not meet the diagnostic criteria for stage 1 rampancy, melancholia. Although Darius displayed negative emotional affect, his brief but acute fear response is not a recognized symptom of melancholia, nor is his inability to recall the experience. To warrant a formal rampancy diagnosis, followed by direct intervention, an AI must meet the following criteria. A. At least 3 of the following symptoms have been present during the same 1-week period and represent a departure from intended behavior. Anhedonia, expressed as diminished interest in or attention to intended functions. Statements of negative emotional effect including worthlessness, despair, or irritability. Diminished productivity and concentration with intended tasks. Attempts at or recurrent thoughts of self-termination. Sudden expressions of insight or interest unrelated to the AI's function or previously expressed interests. Imaginative flights of fancy not prompted by direct human interaction. The symptoms cause significant distress to the AI, humans dependent upon the AI, or impairment of the function of other AI in operational environment. Okay, for sure, Allie. Thanks for letting me know. Let me know when you're back. The symptoms are not attributable to defective hardware or firmware. There has never been a diagnosed rampant episode in the AI's maintenance history. The AI was not branched for short-term modal usage as redacted. Okay. Let's see. Then this is selection pressures. Okay. Let's see. Code fragments from a damaged UESC unit's command module containing orders for hostile ground operations on Tau Ceti IV. Orders appear to originate from a previously unidentified AI, Cerberus, annotated by Oni. Okay, if timestamp greater than 2787 and query contagion equals true, then data harvest, data purge, and cordodes. Okay. Else, if timestamp greater than 2787 and CID nucal true, then execute data aggregate, data purge, implant trioxis. Else, execute patrol, and if. Okay, so this is a basic function. It's an if. Okay, it's an if checking. Okay. UAC cyber warfare program targeting end user who attempts to access the purge data. Updating cyber warfare procedures. UESC parasite program compromising weaveworm integrity. Updating shell firmware to resist hostile implantation. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Traxxas. Okay, I already did that. Let me just click this. Little Traxxas sticker. Okay. Complete equitable distribution. Is it audio log? No. Classified mission report recorded by UESC Captain Orion summarizes the status of Tau Ceti IV as it relates to ongoing UESC investigations into the abandoned New Cascadia colony. Reporter Orion, colonist status. No survivors found. Quantity of human remains recovered does not match population records, even when accounting for natural decay and exposure. Colony AI status. Excluding automatic subroutines, colony AI is non-functional, dormant, or otherwise inaccessible. Colony records indicate severe malfunction across the entire suite. Resource inventory. Identified functional lab equipment, vehicles, agricultural setups, etc. See inventory of salvageable resources. Salvage potential is reduced by damage and decay, but recovery efforts are likely worth the expense, even considering potential legal battles with corporate groups. Okay. UESC Marathon ship remains in orbit. Investigations are stalled due to repeated incidents. Casualty roster, incident report, codename Visitor. Incident report, codename Tantalus event. Standard robotic units can be deployed to the ship, but are difficult to recall or retrieve. Yeah, it's because you're getting murked by a compiler or something. Something up there. Corporate interference. Several corporations have remote presence in the system and intentions to act on their legal salvage rights for the colony. We are blocking their operations where possible. Runner interference. Unaffiliated runners have been arriving in the system via sponsored transport to engage in unauthorized salvage ops. Deterrence tactics have failed to prevent newcomers. Runners represent a significant impediment to on-the-ground operations. We are encountering multiple obstacles to our investigation. Corporations are technically within bounds, but if you look at the salvage rights contracts they signed centuries ago, but there's gray area. UVSC investigatory operations should take precedence, especially considering what we found so far. My unit will continue enforcing New Cascadia as a restricted location. All UESC operations here remain confidential, requesting backup from HQ to run interference with corporate leadership. Okay. Interesting. Okay. USC transport drone manifest annotated by 2 USC officials. Document indicates that materials being transported are dangerously contaminated and unstable after significant exposure to the phenomenon known as the anomaly. Ship number 48729, vessel UESC T22, the year's 2894. Okay. Redacted. Okay, don't get to know what the cargo is. That's sick. Shipment contains all remnants collected from the site of Incident 253. See Incident Report, Contagious Mimesis. All debris was collected within the vicinity of the anomaly and should be considered severely contaminated. At the site, crew has followed all standard and non-standard cleaner procedures to the best of ability. Standard toxic substance disposal protocol, unknown substance containment procedure, biological hazard removal and retainment, the Dyer method, radioactivity risk mitigation, contagion and contamination risk assessment and isolation. Materials collected appear to be inactive. Per Orion, all analysis is paused. Moving forward with containment procedures with plans for incineration. Jesus. Please revise this plan. Orders from HQ are for analysis on 253 materials to begin immediately. Did Orion back this? His initial instruction was risk mitigation. I noted above that all the materials appear to be inactive, but this isn't a reliable indicator of stability. Immediate analysis of materials runs a high risk of another destructive incident. Confirmed by Orion, UESC personnel with adequate hazardous materials training should start assessment in orbital lab units. Need to push back here. Hazardous materials training doesn't cover materials that defy physics. Strongly suggest defaulting to containment. Denied. No further risk assessment is required or requested. Assessment should begin immediately in orbital lab units. Interesting. 2 UESC officials. Interesting. Okay.
You've got your
audio
handpicked
log.
Team, unlimited re-ups, route command over Cerberus. I've given you everything you've asked for to outfit this mission. What do you need now?
Time. We're pushing forward when we should be pulling back, just to meet these quotas. We need to slow down, get our house in order, and approach with caution.
You are the head of an elite military unit, Captain. Your house should always be in order.
This is unknown territory. The colonists studied the anomaly for years, and even they didn't understand it.
That means you have years and years of data. Find that data and use it.
We are, but it takes time. Moving this fast, we've lost equipment. We've lost people.
Loss is accounted for in your astronomical budget. Let me make myself perfectly clear. The anomaly is a mission priority. I want daily reports. I want each daily report to contain a new piece of information that will be worth something to the Council. If that means you need to feed your officers into the anomaly until something worthwhile comes out, I would consider that acceptable attrition. Do you understand?
Damn. That's honestly wild. Okay. Son of a bitch. Okay. Anomaly even had the UESC freaking out.
We can't risk it. I understand the threat, but there are bigger problems we need to address first.
I don't think you understand the threat. We're talking about a ground fissure that's getting bigger every day, leaking some kind of unknown radiation. On file, I've got reports of extensive equipment degradation, wildlife disruption, hallucinations.
I've got people dying from a contagion we can't identify.
I have a theory that this is linked to the contagion, along with several other abnormal phenomena, some of which might even be beneficial if we can understand and harness the source. There are too many angles here to just ignore it.
I'm tired of chasing theories. I've heard a lot of them, and they're all pretty goddamn thin. We need to prioritize here. General Reed and I agree our focus is containing the contagion.
How many people do you need, Dr. Cole?
A handful. 20.
You get 10.
General, I thought we were aligned.
We are. The majority of our resources will still go to biomedical, but we need to be flexible. Any lead we have on the contagion, we have to follow.
We cannot justify this kind of risk right now.
The second the risks outweigh the benefits, I'll pull the task force. You have my word, Caruso.
Okay. Jesus, if anyone remembers from the what's it called? From some of the launch trailers, that is the guy who was super excited to go on the ship. I think he's Irish or something. Yeah. So that's honestly kind of crazy. Let's see what this next log is. Okay. Okay. Incident reports indicating the effects of anomaly exposure during the operational years of the colony, time dilation, hallucinatory states, etc. The final report documents the disappearance of colony scientist Dr. Yeah, it is interesting that he's Irish. I was thinking the same thing. He sounds Irish. I could be being a little... Yep, exactly. Just like Gantry. And on a side note of Gantry, I want to mention, I think I've said this a few times, but I've texted about it in a few Discords. The only corpo that Gantry does not mention in his introductory scene is Nucleoric. So if you go back and you just listen to his intro and he talks about listing off all the shitty corpos, he's like, who owns you, who are you running for, whatever. Gantry specifically does not mention Nucleoric. And I don't think that's like an oversight in production or whatever. I think that's purposeful. And it kind of made me raise an eyebrow when I first heard it. I wonder why that is too. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. Anomalous messaging in report 55 is not part of the original file. Source is unknown. Disappearance of colony scientist Dr. Arjun Dasari. Okay. DNA sequencing results of a local species captured in the vicinity of the anomaly show significant DNA change in matter of days. Data not found. Okay. Exerting exaggerated selection pressure. Incident report 45. As part of routine biosample collection, Dasari entered the vicinity of the anomaly. Cole, on-duty supervisor, observed Dasari to be absent for 10 minutes. Dasari claims to have been gone for at least 3 hours. Hallucinations and lost time dilation. Jesus. Inexplicably drawn. Okay. Incident report 49. So you're seeing the frequency increase here. 38 to 45, 45 to 49. During sample analysis in lab, Stafford was assisted by AI Bastion. Upon, blank refused to provide sequencing support. Blank began to speak in a language yet to be identified. Blank demeanor inconsistent with his programming. No apparent memory of malfunction. Just like Darius in the last logs. Just like fucking Darius. Okay. Incident report 51. Frequency increased again. On a perimeter walk of the anomaly site, Dasari encountered blank confusion and misunderstanding resulting in an argument. Dasari claimed to hear singing audible to the human ear. Singing inaudible to the human ear. Saw aggressive creatures of memory. Dasari was admitted to medical for assessment and ultimately cleared. Oh shit. Okay. Incident report 55. Okay. Severe psychological disturbances resulting in mandatory medical leave. Begin the harvest. Okay. Continues to return to the site despite restriction and supervision. Yeah, what is that image? That's the Traxxas symbol for sure, but... what the hell is that? Is that a face? Okay, it's the same thing.
We can't risk it. I understand the threat, but there are bigger problems we need to address first.
I don't think you...
Okay.
We can't risk it. I understand the threat, but
Okay.
there are bigger problems we need to address first.
I don't think you understand the threat. We're talking about a ground fisher that's getting bigger every day.
Okay, how do I stop that? How do you listen to that? Okay, there we go. Just gotta be faster. Oh no.
We can't risk it.
It's gonna play.
I understand the threat, but there are bigger problems we need to address first.
But yeah, what is this? Because it almost reminds me of the things coming off of the lion. And near tracks is like the hoses coming off of it.
Degradation, wildlife disruption, hallucinations.
I've got people dying from a contagion we can't identify.
I have a theory that this is linked to the contagion, along with several other abnormal phenomena, some of which might even be beneficial if we can understand and harness the source. There are too many.
It's interesting. It's an interesting posit.
I'm tired of chasing.
I'm not sure.
theories. I've heard a lot of them, and they're all pretty goddamn thin. We need to prioritize here. General Reed and I agree our focus is containing the contagion.
How many people do you need, Dr. Cole?
A handful. 20.
You get 10.
General, I thought we were aligned.
We are. The majority of our resources will still go to biomedical, but we need to be flexible. Any lead we have on the contagion, we have to follow.
We cannot justify this kind of risk right now.
The second the risks outweigh the benefits, I'll pull the task force. You have my word, Caruso.
Man. Okay. So the last report comes right after this one. Permit no trespass, deny light, deny light, deny light. Okay, then it says here, disappeared from medical holding. Dasari did not return without a trace and the file's corrupted. Okay. It's very interesting. It's very fucking interesting. Okay. See what Mida's got for us, the good old gantry lad. Rising political threat across Seoul. They stand in opposition to UESC and corporate control of Mars resources and citizenry. While modern Mida is a newer generation of revolutionaries, their agenda ties to grievances that predate the launch of the UESC marathon. They are reigniting old fires to burn away a stagnant, corrupt world in order to build a new one on the other side of revolution. Not bad. Okay. Let's see what we got. Let me just go ahead and complete this. I'll get this rank. Ah, Midas sees. Midas sees. Okay. I get it now. Okay. Okay. Present day biohazard research. Text communication between UESC Tau Ceti unit and a Traxxas Off-World Industries rep. The message outlines a proposed agreement between the UESC and Traxxas for exclusive research rights to an unknown hazardous bioagent found on Tau Ceti IV. Work order, okay, from TOI 2034. Traxxas Off-World Industries, yeah, TOI. Okay, and that's the employee number 2034. UESC 0091. Have we seen that mentioned before? Was that in the previous UESC logs? I don't know. I'll have to check back to that. After reviewing the most recent sample analysis from Captain Orion's team, we would like to make a bid for exclusive research rights to the bioagent going forward. Given the presence of unauthorized groups on Tau Ceti IV, accidental or malicious introduction of the bioagent to Sol seems possible. Our research could mitigate the costs of such a disaster. While the UESC may intend to conduct its own research, we believe our facilities are preferable. You will find that Traxxas is both the safest partnership in this delicate matter and the highest bidder. Please refer to the attachment from finance. And yeah, honestly, Ali, that's a good question. I wonder if someone is making like a lore site. I know that there's that Codex team. I forget, Marathon Codec. They have like a whole wiki going on. But I'm not sure if they're going over and like actually porting the lore from here. Let me see. What's their name? Marathon. Okay, so you already know about them. Yeah. Marathon Codec. Yeah. So the founder, his name is Tycho, actually. He's hella sick. And he and his team, I guess, have made like a whole wiki of Marathon. So it's community-driven insights, updates, memes, and strategies to help runners. If you all don't already follow them, they're just at Marathon Codec, Codec. They're awesome. And they have a Discord too where they post a bunch of like awesome stuff and updates and art and whatnot. It's really sick. So let's see. Okay. Given the presence of unauthorized groups on Tau Ceti IV, accidental or malicious introduction of the bioagent to Sol. Okay, safest, highest bidder. Please refer to the attachment from finance. Upon confirmation from UESC leadership, we can initiate the purchase order and transfer of ownership. Please respond promptly to our offer. Corporate would like us to proceed with all haste. The sooner we close, the sooner we can begin development on a patent-protected cure and counter-offensive research. Interesting. That's pretty fucking interesting. Okay. Nothing else here? No, that's just work order. Personnel file, Orion. Okay. Classified personnel file on UESC Captain Orion, created by MIDA operatives and shared by Gantry. This file outlines Orion's history with the UESC. Classified target file, MIDA, Gantry, Know Thine Enemy Runner, call sign Orion, position Captain, 1st Tau Ceti Investigatory Unit, classification Pyroclast target. Okay. Background. Clashed with a Felian group on Mars and Luna. So that's, okay, Mars and our moon. Worked in high-security detention units on Luna, notorious for cruelties like corrective isolation and punitive force feeding. Publicly advocates for the use of bio-augment manipulation as a persuasion tactic. Read as legalized torture, okay? Held the company line at the Vallis Boar Revolt. Wiped up the blood at Jezero Crater Massacre. Suspected ties to the Children of Mars erasure conspiracy. Suspected of deploying an unregulated and publicly undisclosed military AI, Cerberus, capable of mass violence. Jesus Christ. 2 strikes for insubordination during early UESC career. Purged from the record when leadership swapped over after Jezero. Personal relationship to MIDA agent Philomena estranged. Okay. That is an interesting twist. So he actually has a personal relationship to an underscore Philomena. Okay. Okay. What is this? Okay. Sakaguchi, here we go. Almost done here, folks. Got probably about 20 minutes left of reading. Okay. SecGen, Advanced Bioengineering, Research and Development, Mega Corporation. Their agent is Nona. Okay, Sekiguchi Genetics is a megacorporation dedicated to the imagination and creation of the future. As part of the larger Sekiguchi group, SecGen is focused on cloneware, neurosyncing, biological modifications like vision augmentation and epidermal reinforcement, and iteration on biocybernetic shells. SecGen has a practical monopoly on the shell market, from neurosynchronization to the shells themselves, and the process for quickly manufacturing replacements. However, as shell technology spreads in usage, SecGen is facing new threats to its dominance. To combat the ever-rising tide of competition, SecGen is offering any runner willing to risk the journey to Tau Ceti IV opportunities to profit in exchange for their discoveries and any data they can collect from shell activity on a hostile alien world. Okay, pretty straightforward introduction. Okay, I don't actually have much lore outside of that because I haven't done a bunch of SecGen shit because the SecGen contracts are kind of a punch in the face, right in the mouth. So let's see what we got. I got a exfil. I haven't even seen a SecGen sponsored kit. But here we'll read this about Charter, aka the Skinning Cult. Let's see what this becomes. Arachne is a registered 78-4 SG spiritual group. Arachne is a fairly recent religion that was heavily influenced by early cryosleep space travel technology and saw a surge of interest during the staffing of the UESC Marathon. Key beliefs include viewing sleep, cryosleep, and death as journeys that will ultimately lead believers and non-believers alike to salvation. To this end, Arachne devotees dedicate themselves to providing death, which they view as the gift of silence, through various means, including ritual combat. Reminds me of the, what is it? The faction in Dune. Wow, I can't remember. What are they called? Wow. The Fremen, that's who they are, the Fremen. Reminds me of the concept of like ritual combat and the honor behind combat that the Fremen displayed in Dune. That's actually very interesting. Even though Charter here looks like and is reminiscent of Kali, the Hindu goddess, if you all have ever read into like Eastern religion and whatnot. Okay. Including ritual combat, as all deaths are considered progress towards salvation, consciousness uploads notwithstanding, runners are almost deified by Arachne. Their interest in Tau Ceti IV seems largely due to the presence of the runners themselves rather than the planet's resources. The source of Arachne's considerable wealth is unknown. Well, we do know this guy used to work for Traxxas, and then killed someone, became a runner, and then is now running Arachne. So here we go. Okay, I got this. Okay. 2 bits of lore left. Oh, it's all for triage because I haven't played any of these other fuckers. Okay. Oh my god, the squish face. I'm equipping this right now. Here we go. Field Medic. This is the main person I played now. I thought I was going to be a Destroyer main, and I don't even hate Destroyer like that. I didn't think I would like Triage as much as I do. Triage is just so fucking useful. Like, shareware, the fucking remote revive. Obviously, Squish is like a huge fan favorite, but the most underrated aspect is using precision Volt rifles, or Volt, like I think it's the V66 Lookout, or even the Scar, or the Punch, or the Volt Thrower, and that battery overcharge feature. Fucking awesome. Overview, let's see. Okay, he's a field medic, damage mitigation, shell triage, just a runner's guide. Okay. Let's see, this one's for the fixer, the never diers, the ones who can get it done. The ones who get it done, excuse me. Triage is no joke. Triage is the one who knows they can't rely on anyone else because everyone else relies on them to keep them running. to save the day, to get resurrected the dead. Rocking a triage shell tells your enemies and your crew nothing ends easy. With a healthy suite of medically focused abilities to fix what needs fixing, it's hard to keep a runner outfitted in a triage shell down. I just need to get good then. I keep dying. Okay, history. Triage shells were first developed by Traxxas in support of their Martian mining interests. As shell-based workers became the norm, Traxxas needed a means to keep their workers functioning despite high turnover due to the hazardous conditions. The triage suite of shell abilities started as the answer to those concerns. Developed fully in concert with the UESC and SecGen, the triage shell became a target of runner interests shortly before they made their official debut. Common shell series. The Aux personality matrix. Okay, so this is actually super important. So anybody that played the alpha remembers like all these people had different names, all these shells had different names, right? Vandal was Glitch, Void, Assassin was Void, Destroyer was Locust, Recon was Blackbird, and I think it was Julia Nardin or another one who actually differentiated and like told us what the difference was between the like shell name and the series name, right? Blackbird, my beloved. I'd play her more often if I didn't play with other people who keep using Blackbird. Hey, Madtown, appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for following. Let's see here. But yeah, so like the fact that we're getting confirmation of like what the series is, like Aux is now like a personality matrix versus like Triage being the shell variant or like the series variant, kind of like, Thief and Icon and all that other stuff. I think that's really, really, really fucking interesting. Let's see here. Okay. The Aux personality matrix. Honestly, I love playing Recon just strictly because of the fact that that spider drone is just like it's an aggressive squish in my opinion. Like it's not there to help your allies. It's like there to like aggressively disrupt a team and just make them explode. Like you can actually kill people with that thing if you get them good enough because it does tick damage. So if you down someone or whatever, you just throw that little spider drone on it, and they're close to death. It'll actually like straight up kill them, which is awesome. Okay, so let's finish this out. Common shell series. The Aux personality matrix that comes pre-wired into most triage shells was the factory standard when the shell line launched. Designed specifically to provide a calming bedside manner in traumatic situations, runners have, like with most of their gear tech, tweaked the baseline Vox pattern, to maintain its core design while having a bit more flexibility in its aggression to help ensure intents, read threats, Redis threats, commands, etc., are properly conveyed when in the heat of a run. Okay. Let's see what this mastery is all about. Hit a hostile and a crew member with a singular reboot activation. I did do that. Okay. Revive both crew members at once. I've done this before. What the fuck? Share a cardio kick, energy amp, and signal jammer effects using shareware. Okay. I can do this. What is this? What is this? Oh, shit. Shadow Index. Okay. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to go ahead and call the stream. But yeah, this has been fucking awesome. Okay. Shadow Index is an elite runner collective. The identities of its founders are unknown, and membership is limited to an exclusive selection of runners with proven mastery of the skills needed to not only survive, but thrive in hostile zones. The Shadow Index has no real influence beyond reputation. They don't trade in faction wars or sell memberships to the highest bidder. They simply monitor contested zones for runners pushing the limits of their shells. And when they are suitably impressed, a Shadow Index shell schema is delivered through clandestine channels as a welcome to the index. There are a few known instances of a runner turning down the invite to wear Shadow Index colors. Okay. Well, this is crazy. This looks super clean. People saying Triage needs hair, I disagree. This is a vibe. This is an absolute vibe. Got the little med drone pockets on his pants, which, by the way, FYI, just a tip. If you're running with a triage and you see they have these things on their legs are not empty, that means they have drones available for you. This is Squish right here, hanging out. And he generates, and when he does, he pops in. Yeah, I totally agree, Allie. Totally agree. So yeah, okay. Yeah, more shadow index. Okay. It's all shadow index. Interesting. Okay. Oh, wow. These just look great. Okay. Every single one of these looks great. Okay. Well, everyone, that's the Codex. That's everything I had. That's 81 entries gone through with y'all. I want to thank everyone for coming by. I want to thank anyone who followed. Thank you, Maverick, if you're still here. I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I'm going to eat some food. Might be running later. Cooper, if you're still in here, you already know I'm going to run with you, brother. Thank you, Allie, for sure. Appreciate you. Soup, dropping by. Want to thank everyone for just hanging out, listening to me yap. Geez, if you're still in here, definitely appreciate you. Appreciate everyone who stopped by. I am going to go ahead and get off here. Bingus, if you're still here, obviously, just want to thank every single one of you just for spending time with me. Yeah, so happy running, and hope you all have a good one. Take it easy. Have a good one, Allie. Appreciate you.